Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We are currently exploring the scripture mysticism of Srimad Bhagavatam. Commentary is by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilanand. So let's explore the mystical meaning of the arena and Lord Krishna and Balrama's entry in it. Kubalya Peer, the mighty elephant, is the symbol of Rajasic and Tamasic faith. Faith in human beings is of three types, as we discussed: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Sattvic faith is true religious faith, faith based upon pure feelings. Rajasic and Tamasic faith, on the other hand, are based on distorted understanding, believing in things on the basis of misconceptions and distortions in our comprehension. Rajasic and Tamasic faith become mighty obstacles on the spiritual path. Actually, it's Rajas and Tamas, one of the two of the three gunas that hold us back. So therefore, the focus should be to intensify our sattva or purity, and satsang is a beautiful way to enhance that. The two tusks represent raga and dvesha, attachments and hatred backed up by Rajasic and Tamasic faith. The Mahavat represents distorted understanding or Vipreet Bhavana. Turning it around, they misunderstand and stay worldly. Mahavat is the person controlling the elephant. Raga is a tendency to become attached to anything that gives pleasure or happiness. Dvesha is hatred or dislike towards anything that comes in the way of our happiness. As a result of these two forces, the mind is constantly agitated. Uprooting raga and dvesha is accomplished by the grace of Krishna. When raga and dvesha are removed, a profound devotional movement commences in an aspirant. Instead of being attached to objects of the world, one becomes attached to God within us. Instead of hating certain objects, we begin to negate the whole world process. In other words, we begin to develop vairagya or dispassion towards the whole world. And this is not a negative development. When we start experiencing vairagya, it's a very high advancement in our spiritual journey where we see the transience in all things. We realize that God is the only reality and all other objects are merely names and forms. Names and forms are never constant, they are like waves. God, on the other hand, is like the ocean. Why attach ourselves to one wave when we have the possibility of being attached to the ocean itself? Next episode, a match with the wrestlers Chanur and Mushtika. While Krishna and Balrama stood before the crowd in the arena, exhibiting their victory over the elephant, one of the greatest wrestlers of the time, Chanur, emerged to confront and challenge Krishna to a duel. Krishna, who was only 12 years old at the time, jokingly suggested that Chanur find someone who was his equal in age and size. Chanur insisted, however, saying that he had seen how Krishna had destroyed the mighty elephant Kubalya Peer. So Krishna took up the challenge of Chanur and suggested that Mushtika, another great wrestler, be present in the arena to wrestle Balram and increase the spectators' delight of King Kams and the citizens of Mathura. Thus the challenge was taken up and the match began, only to end shortly in the death of those mighty wrestlers, plus three others at the hands of Krishna and Balarama. The mystical meaning. The name Chanur contains the term Anu, Chanu, Anu. Anu means atomic or subtle. It refers to the subtle egoistic impediments of I-ness or ahamta, the sense of individuality, the sense that this is me. Mushtika refers to mamta, the sense of mindness, the feeling that this is mine. So the feelings of me and mine are those wrestlers. Mushtika literally means a tight fist. If you hold on to things tightly, thinking they belong to you, then you have become a mushtika. These sentiments, being subtle and very powerful forces to deal with, have been personified as tremendous wrestlers. An interesting illustration will help us understand how mamta gets us into trouble and binds us to the world. In some areas of Africa and India, monkeys are trapped by a simple device. Food that the monkeys like is placed in a jar with a narrow neck. When the monkey puts his hand in the jar and grabs a handful of the food, he is caught. When the hunters come, the monkey becomes agitated and tries to free his hand. However, it is tight fisted, full of the food that he loves, and so he cannot get it out through the narrow neck of the jar. It would be very simple to free himself by just letting go of the food that's in his hand. Then he could easily get his hand out of the jar. However, his mind is so set on getting the food that he won't let it go, and hence he gets trapped. Much in the same way, if we look deeply into our thoughts and concepts, we will realize that we have created that monkey like predicament in our own mind. Deep down, we are free, but in our mind, we have created these illusions of mindness. These things are mine. How can I be without them? Therefore, we are caught in the world of time and space. Through the narrow neck of illusion, we have put our hand into the world of time and space and caught hold of a handful of illusions. This sense of mindness or mamta is symbolized by mushtika. Ahamta and mamta are forces that an individual cannot overcome on his own. One needs divine assistance to wrestle with them and finally overcome them. To tackle ahamta, we need divine intelligence and the grace of God, Krishna. To tackle mamta, we need immense power of will, symbolized by Balarama. The other demoniac wrestlers that joined in the fight were different ramifications of the afflictions or kleshas that bind the soul: ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, and fear of death. These are called the five kleshas or afflictions. And as long as they exist, we will continue to reincarnate in the cycle of life and death. Therefore, through wisdom, through our sword of discrimination and detachment, we can certainly cut through these illusions. But we need faith, a sincere guru, and our own dedicated effort to be a spiritual sadhak, to be an aspirant as we move on this journey. In order to destroy ignorance itself, we have to wrestle with all its demoniac ramifications. Otherwise, we continue to be glued. And in tomorrow's satsang, we will pick up the final confrontation with Kansa. So this is the journey of our satsang today. This is Swami Nikhilanand. Om Tat Sat.